my intestines were perforated during the CS and I had an infection. The infection would kill within hours, but I carried it for 12 days without knowing.
Isioma and John got married in 2009. After 9 years of trying for a baby, Isioma was finally pregnant.
So it was a very pleasant experience, and we're happy. We're really, really looking forward to having a baby.
Since I had waited so long, they decided it was safer to do the CS. Just take the baby out and no, there won't be any complications. That was the way it was supposed to go.
But that was far from how it went. A few days after the surgery, Isioma knew something was wrong.
I was ill for several days and nobody understood why.
I had a feeling something was off because her whole face was puffy, and all that.
10 days after, I asked them to please allow me take her out for a test. And the scan showed that there was fluid inside the tummy, but nobody was serious to really check what was happening. They discharged us.
While at home, Isioma got worse. Her temperature shot up. Her heartbeat got weaker and she became completely disoriented. The family rushed Isioma back to the hospital for emergency attention.
As soon as they saw her, they said straight to the theater. With the person who came out to ever tell me the truth about what was happening, because I still didn't know what was happening, said she had 6 liters of feces. Those were the things that was distending the stomach.
Isioma had suffered multiple intestinal perforations during the CS. The leakage into her body was causing sepsis, a blood infection that could kill within hours. Isioma had carried this for 12 days.
Doctors told me that they did not expect me to survive that surgery because when they opened me up, what they saw, it was a mess. And when I survived the surgery, they didn't expect me to make it 24 hours. But I kept going.
2 surgeries later, Isioma was not getting any better.
The intestines ruptured again. I couldn't eat. I was in pain all the time. The pain that I felt was indescribable, really. Sometimes I would be screaming, sometimes I would be rolling. There was just no relief. There was no relief no matter what I took.
Her speech was all over the place, really not making sense,
I didn't know myself. I didn't know what height I was. When I eventually saw the baby, I couldn't recognize her.
While the medical team could not find an answer to Isioma's ordeal, the family hung on to their faith and trusted God for divine intervention.
We had a prayer chain that we had our leader, friends, a 24-hour prayer chain that people kept praying for her.
When I complained or said, I don't know why this is happening to me, the doctors would tell me, don't you know you're a miracle? They called me the miracle of 2019 in the hospital at that time. They said, what you went through, people don't go through it and come out. So even though things were really still bad and there were things flowing out of my abdomen and all that, I could see that the fact that I was still alive up till that point was a miracle in itself.
After 3 months in hospital, the family flew Isioma to Dubai for treatment. Isioma was now in a terrible state, and the lead doctor reported they had about 24 hours to stabilize her.
Immediately, that night, within a matter of hours, I was rushed into the theater to put a tube through my neck, a central line where I was giving food for the next 2 months through.
After 8 weeks in intensive care, and Isioma's internal injuries were not healing, the doctors presented the family with 2 options.
To have the surgery or not to have it, because she will either die. If she does not die, she will never walk again if she does not die. But the chances of dying was more. I looked at Isioma and said, see, did you hear them? She said she heard.
I just told her, look, we've come this far, and, you know, if I didn't die all this while, then, you know, maybe God is in charge. Let's just go ahead.
I said, Mommy, don't worry. That same God that made them call me Miracle of Teaching Hospital will see me through. I wept.
As the doctors operated, a prayer vigil was going on for Isioma. They performed a colectomy, removing the damaged parts of the gut, and opened the stoma to collect waste in a bag. 8 hours after they started, the team lead came out of the theater.
He said to me, Madam, you have a living God. What God are you serving? Go back and continue to serve that God. I said, is she alive? I said, she survived it. Yes. Thank you. I went back.
A few days after, Isioma was on her way home to Nigeria and went through follow-up surgeries to close the stoma after 6 weeks. It took her a few more weeks in physiotherapy to learn to walk and handle items again. Now, Isioma is back on her feet and can enjoy the company of her family.
It's like somebody who has gone through the valley of the shadow of death and is back here.
The family support, the people that were praying for us, my nieces and nephews who came visiting all the time, my sisters-in-law, my sister, it made all the difference.
Isioma and her family say they have seen the hand of God in their lives and would gladly tell others about the healing grace of God that they had experienced.
Bad things can happen to good people, but where lies your strength is your faith in God.
For those who are passing through hard times, like Isioma did, let them trust in God, even till the last minute, because God works miracles.
I know this one for myself, that God is a healer. I know for myself that God answers prayers. I know for myself that there's a God that reigns in the affairs of men.